the Mission Control Podcast.
Sessions, welcome to part one.
Part one
of the curious case of Elisa Lam.
Yeah, we actually recorded this topic a couple of Halloweens ago.
We did do
we touched on it,
yeah,
because it was such a phenomenon at the time.
Yeah, it still is.
It still is.
It still is.
Massive mystery. But shall we
dive straight in?
Straight into it, yeah, because I think my intention of this anyway, before we get too far into it, is to kind of...
I'm gonna put this on in the background.
Yeah.
While we talk about why we're not going to talk about it.
The case pretty much went viral of the... Shall we just start, I guess, with her background? Who she is?
Yeah, she was a young British Canadian girl with a Chinese background. Lived in Vancouver, was it? Vancouver,
yeah.
British Columbia.
She
studied at the university.
Well, yeah, this is the thing which we'll get into. Her history is... It's kind of hard to find a bit of a backstory to her other than where she studied and her heritage. But allegedly, yeah, she studied in University of BC. Allegedly biochemistry, something like that. Yeah. Something in the sciences. Or...
So, okay, let's just skip forward because I think everyone knows the story. This girl went missing in Los Angeles after staying at the Cecil, the infamous Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
She was declared missing. They had a whole big press conference trying to find, have you seen this person? Mm-hmm. Then not long after, this elevator footage was released to the public through the originally from the FBI to the news.
Well, the LAPD, as part of their, I guess, they got ongoing, they got more and more desperate, basically, when she went missing on the 29th of January.
Yeah.
And this video, I don't know why they decided, but they decided to release this about 5 days after she was declared missing.
Yeah.
Maybe in an attempt to try to ID her or to give more information to the public. So the source of this video is the LAPD produced it to the public, but it was taped from the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
So it came from the actual security footage of the elevator at the Cecil Hotel. So.
And so this was released, and then following a week later, or maybe over a week later,
I would say up to 2 weeks later.
Up to 2 weeks later, people that were staying at the Cecil Hotel were complaining about low water pressure in their showers and taps, as well as murky water. Mm-hmm. And they decided to check the water tanks, and lo and behold, they found the body of a young girl naked in one of the water tanks on the roof of the Cecil Hotel.
Mm-hmm. She
was ID'd as the missing girl, Elisa Lam, in this video. And through the autopsy, she was declared as just accidental drowning because they claimed she had bipolar, wasn't taking medication, and decided to go for a swim in the water tank.
Yeah. And we'll get into the specifics potentially later, but I think the reason the case is so striking is because I guess all we're left to fight over is this footage here.
Yes.
This infamous elevator footage, which time and time again, the more you watch it, the more you can tell some, just to summarize, I guess, some real bizarre anomalies in the footage. So it's slowed down. There's a minute taken out.
Shall we break down what it is about this video that we essentially call bullshit on?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a real direct way because the whole allure of this, I guess, case is the video, and people are kind of tripping over their own feet watching the video, analyzing
this video,
invisible ghosts or whatever, demons, whatever, which, I don't discount any of that, but I feel like it's kind of a little bit too convenient that this was kind of shown to the public to kind of get their to pique their curiosity over the whole case.
Yeah.
So
okay, so let's go down. We've got out a few points here that we've worked out. First of all, common sense. You look at the person in the video, and you look at any photo of Elisa Lam, stuff that was handed to the police by her parents, photos of when she was younger, or like in high school, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
There's a few other photos that have gone around of her. This girl in the video does not resemble Elisa Lam in any physical sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Not to play the whole fucking race thing, but I'm Asian, right?
Yeah.
I can fucking tell we look different, right?
Yeah.
And it first of all, there's pixelation around the face.
Well, okay, no.
So
okay, if we're saying that the girl in the video doesn't look the same. The physical appearance, the body shape, the face does not look like Elisa Lam.
Exactly. And I'm going to keep saying this because in a court of law, I could not look at that and go, I can confirm that this looks like the deceased. It doesn't look anything like her.
Yeah. And you're saying, so with the pixelation, first of all, it's a pretty low quality video. Now, the major thing down the bottom is this timestamp, which is completely illegible.
Yeah.
It's like just a blur, a mess of something.
And just really quickly, what is the whole reasoning behind the timestamp? It's so that in instances like this, in the court of law, it will show the date and the time of this incident. Yeah. And you've got it blurred out?
Well, it's not
that's a red flag.
It's not even blurred. It's freaking completely
it's
messed up.
It's like encrypted almost.
Yeah.
It's like it's completely encrypted. So right there, this is what's kind of irritating me about this case. People go right back into looking over the video again as gospel.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at it as tampered evidence. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because
Okay, and we were talking about pixelation in the video. Now, this is something that I picked up, and when I first started watching, I went into a bit of a paranormal reptilian vibe. Because there's bits in the video where, okay, first of all, the whole video is very bad quality. But by watching it, you can perfectly see over the face, there is distortion. There is movement, distortion, pixelation just over the face, and then it's specifically over the mouth of this person.
And the pixelation doesn't occur anywhere else in the frame except her face.
Yeah.
So.
There's you can notice a few bit of pixelation in the camera, like little sort of static bars. That's what people have claimed to be paranormal stuff. Yeah. And like I'm calling reptilian because it looks like a fucking shape-shifting face.
Yeah.
So that's another reason, that doesn't make sense.
Yep.
We can talk about the footage. They reckon it's slowed down.
Yep, it's I think when you speed up the footage to 1.25, then it resembles a lot like what would be real time. So we have 52 seconds missing from the footage, and it's been slowed down.
Yes.
You can pretty much confirm that. So
and let's see if I got this timing right. Just like the Zapruder film of JFK, the great cut. Great cut. You watch the elevator door skip from one point, bang, to another point, closing.
Yeah. So there's cuts. Definitely, it's been altered. It's been tampered with.
Yeah,
it's faulty evidence.
There's almost. I reckon I can't remember where it was in this one, but there's claims that there's even like a cut when she moves across the camera.
So what's also really bizarre is if you kind of fast forward to about 3/4 through, so she disappears from sight.
Yep.
She's no longer in frame, yet they felt the need to still include about, how long are we talking? A minute and a half?
Yeah.
Nearly a minute and a half of just the elevator doors opening and closing.
Yeah. So the doors stayed open, and now watch the cut. And any second, there it is, that great cut in the footage. And then, the doors just open and close.
Open and close, so they don't show her. But so we're missing a minute, yet they felt the need to show The last bit. Okay. That already strikes me as very odd.
Yep.
And that's why I cannot proceed with this case referring to that video
Yep.
anymore. And that's what I want to really... That should have been the end of it. Whereas people are kind of analyzing the footage, looking for outlines of ghosts, trying to decipher. Yet, if you put... I urge you to do this. Put a photo, the missing photo of Elisa Lam next to the pixelated, distorted footage, and even then you can tell they are not the same person, like flat out. So that's kind of where I think a lot of people go down the rabbit hole of this whole case, still referring to that footage, which basically I question all of it right down to the source of the footage. Whether there's deception within the LAPD that they edited that, or whether they themselves just received the footage already edited.
Okay. No, here's people pulling up blurry images, circling ghosts in the freaking video.
Yeah, I find it all too convenient that's the first thing that I feel like it has purposely been steered that way.
Well,
in order to completely take people down the wrong path.
Yeah, so, and a part of it has been the whole pop culture vibe where a girl dies in a water tank and the water goes murky, everyone goes dark water, Hollywood fucking...
Yeah, I find that all very eerie and convenient. But shall we...
Okay, yeah, so basically we're throwing away the elevator footage. That's got nothing to do with this whole thing anymore.
I would say, like I've reiterated like a million times, it's tampered footage. We should be moving on from the footage as any form of evidence to add to this.
So I'm going to close the elevator footage.
So we should be looking at real people. So, and this one here...
So, okay, we're going... Should we go down
movements?
Go down the timeline of her actions?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people have overlooked certain parts of her movement. So she traveled from Vancouver to California.
Yeah,
on a holiday. Mm-hmm. Apparently, she went to San Diego. Went to the San Diego Zoo.
Yeah,
but there's no evidence. There's nothing about that apart from people say that that's what happened.
Yeah, or I guess they're kind of extracting this a lot from her social media, where she may mention a few things, which is that's another rabbit hole. But
it's all social media. And then people say, and then she was last seen at Cecil Hotel. But in between that, which went under the radar, is she actually visited a bookstore in Los Angeles.
About a block away.
It's just around the corner, like a block and a half around the corner from the Cecil Hotel, called The Last Bookstore. That's a bit odd there.
So one of the employees of The Last Bookstore, her name's Kate Orphan, who also has her own Instagram account, which you can look up as well. She was pretty much one of the last people to speak to her.
Yes.
So Elisa was allegedly buying presents for some of her family members. Mm-hmm. She mentioned something about worrying about how heavy they were because she was planning to travel and take them back with her. Yeah. She appeared to be a normal, happy-go-lucky college student. Like, there was no weirdness about her. So a lot of people don't know that, she did actually walk around the area before she went missing. So,
so she went to this bookstore, and then
I think she went to a speakeasy, which is very, very important. I think
speakeasy.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a group. I'm gonna look real dumb right now.
Speakeasy. It gets really deep. That's the thing. We're trying to scratch this surface because we want to get down. We want to get down.
Yeah. But she visited multiple places around that area. But we can't. We always, when we want to verify who states where she's been, we kind of hit brick walls.
Yes.
It's very hard to pinpoint names of people. Like, I want the fucking name of the person.
Thing is, so they talk about, people mention like on their social media or speak to her friends on her Facebook page. There's no one talking about her.
Yeah.
She doesn't there's no Facebook page.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that Facebook page. There's photos that did come out, show her like with some sort of friends. Yeah. With a friend. And there's another photo where she was in a similar outfit. So she was at some place.
What I find really eerie about this photo, right, straight off the bat, why blur him out? And I know a lot of people are saying, well, privacy, because he doesn't want to be associated with the disappearance and the death of some girl. But if she had friends, right, like if you fucking died and if you went missing, I would show my face. I'd be like, yeah, he was my friend. We hung out. We did this and that together. Where are the testimonies from her friends and associates? Because we see nothing.
Well, unless that's like a celebrity or something that she ran into and got a photo taken with, or
that's like Chris D'Elia.
Or something that she doesn't, someone that she doesn't actually know, but wanted to take a photo with.
But do you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
There's no real trail of people that have been associated with her, grew up in college. Like, who did she party with? Who did she hang with? Yeah. There's no testimony from anybody. Is she even? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that goes
doing all the stuff that they claim.
That gets into her. Where do we go? So like we're saying, the lack of evidence. There's lack of evidence in news. They talk about this social media, talk about San Diego Zoo. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Sources of images. There's nothing. It's just the stuff. These random photos have popped up, but there's no background. If she was a university student at the University of British Columbia, she would have friends. She would have classmates. She'd have people that knew her. There's never, ever been interviews or articles with those people. We're living in fucking 2019 where it takes someone to make a YouTube video or someone to make a small little video saying, this is, Elisa was my friend. She went missing. With a case that's become so huge around the world, if there was someone that was close to her that actually cared, they'd say something. Even if they wanted to dismiss this thing and say, look, people forget about it. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Yeah. It's like there's no support around. She has no support group. That's what I feel. Unless you could say, look, that's part of her character. She didn't hang out with anyone. She was really reclusive. She stayed away from social media. That exists. I mean, I'm trying to do that now.
Yeah. But I mean, because she did have an Instagram, not many photos on it.
Yep. She had a Tumblr.
She had a Tumblr account. Now that's something we're going to go into because the Tumblr account is very, very fishy.
Yeah.
I actually question whether it's actually her Tumblr or just because
the authenticity of all of her whole social media trail is very questionable.
Yes.
She has a Twitter. She had, I think, a LinkedIn. She had another one where she would kind of, you can name like favorite authors, things like that. But they all seem very empty.
Yes.
Unused. There's not a lot of back and forth, like commenting, like her commenting and replying to friends in a thread, but then again, we don't have access to her personal Facebook.
Yeah,
that could have been changed at the time. But
so something I want to say, because we're going back on sort of sightings places where she was seen or things that she did, people she spoke to. Something that came up was she supposedly appeared on an episode of George
Strombolopolis.
George, which refers to George Tonight.
Yep. So he's a famous Canadian talk show host.
Canadian talk show host.
Had some pretty big celebrities on his show.
Yeah. Now, I will say that when we found this, we saw this video, and we went to try and find this, like the whole episode of this. This video refers to Series 3, Episode 58. We did a simple Google search of Season 3, Episode 58. It got a bit confusing because this talk show host, the name of his show changed after Season 5.
It changed from The Hour to George Tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this reference to Season 3 is actually Season 6?
Season 9.
Season 9 of his entire show, but the third season under the new name.
Yep. So I think that's where a lot of people got confused.
Yeah.
There was also a weird coincidence between Sir Richard Branson and Richard Armitage?
Armitage, yeah. So this episode had Richard Armitage from The Hobbit on it. And but some reason, somehow, that when we tried to find this episode, it kept linking to Sir Richard Branson.
Yeah.
That might have just been a coincidence.
Coincidence, yeah.
But what we worked out is, as much as information as we could find, this episode was actually filmed around about 2 months prior to her disappearance and
December 2012.
death. December 2012.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's strange because there is a photo of Elisa that goes around with her wearing this Hobbit hat.
Yeah, the big Gandalf hat. Yep.
So when I first saw this photo, I thought she was giving a presentation as being a student doing a thing. But turns out, no, she's wearing a Hobbit hat, which this video here, which I will now play, actually shows a girl wearing this Hobbit suit, so that the whole audience is putting on these Hobbit hats. And just on the right side of the screen is this little Asian girl. Should we get some volume? Right there.
Yeah.
And to me, that resembles the girl in the photos.
In the photos, yeah.
In the photos. And you can tell, like, just from her actions, like, she's got this really fun, sort of, like, laughing, happy smile face. So it's highly likely, considering that there's a photo of her.
Yeah, on that show. Yeah.
Sitting on the producer, almost like audience members get to take a photo in the seat.
And I'm sure they have like a master guest list of every audience member, right? Because they don't just allow anyone to go into those audiences. I think there's a bit of a... You've got to sign up with your name.
Like a selection...
There's a bit of a selection criteria. She allegedly was on a taping for Conan O'Brien as well.
Really?
So she liked to visit the shows. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's highly likely. I'd almost be convinced that, that's her in the audience.
Yeah.
2 months prior to her disappearance.
Yeah.
As a fun, happy-go-lucky person.
So a real big thing that I want to touch on for 2 secs is that she lost her mobile phone. So she, as we all know, like a mobile phone is like a gold mine in disappearance cases. Yeah. But she essentially was using a BlackBerry phone that was lent from a friend, or she had lost a cell phone that was given to her from a friend. And this is where it gets weird because, like, where are these reports from? How do they get parroted, and how the hell do we know the source of that information?
Yeah.
Like, whose phone did she have at the time? Where's her phone? Do those phones have access to the social media platforms that she was on? I just find it weird that there's no trail of anyone having had contact with her. Any friends, like, look at how often do we send texts? Like, hundreds a day.
See, this is another photo recently that I came across, but I don't know the relevance of this photo and where this was taken.
Yeah. Is this all pulled from social media? Can we just assume that? I guess. This is where it gets really weird. Like the sources of these photos.
I mean, I don't know how much of a deep web search I can find, but finding the credit of where that photo came from is near on impossible.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
You could do search Google Images. So basically, I mean, if we were to quickly break down what we're saying as our first part of this thing.
Yeah.
Elevator footage that everyone's raving over, that everyone's trying to dissect and use as the basis for all their arguments, fucking out the window. Yeah. Forget the fucking elevator footage, because that means fuck all.
Yeah.
Her time, her activities, what she was up to. We're going to get into some of that because there's a lot of suspicious stuff behind some of the stuff that she did.
I guess a little bit more context as to the areas that she was visiting.
Yes.
They have some very bizarre coincidences involved with that. But where is the tangible, evidence that you can dig your teeth into?
Where is
names of people?
Where is the evidence that she actually exists?
Pretty much. I want to see people.
Where's evidence that she exists before being a student at the University of British Columbia?
Her whole context, her whole upbringing,
history.
Where are her friends? Surely someone has a story about her getting drunk.
If they can find a photo of Barack Obama smoking a joint in fucking Hawaii, they can find a photo of a young girl.
Yeah. Where is her existence beyond this 2-year bubble? Mm-hmm. People do not. It's a bit of a mystery. Definitely a bit of a mystery, and that doesn't seem to get addressed. Like, can we get some tangible names, some real evidence of her, existing?
But
I mean, it's perplexing. Like people continue to theorize more and more with kind of the same tools, rather than going, let's get some real things that we can touch. Can we touch her family's restaurant? Yes, you can go to that place. Can you visit her gravesite?
They shut it down, didn't they?
The
restaurant's shut down, and her gravesite exists.
Yep. Can you go up to the grave and touch it? Yes. That's one thing which we'll get into. Okay, those are the real things.
Does the Cecil Hotel exist? Not anymore. It's called Stay on Main.
It's called Stay on Main.
It's still got the Cecil Hotel branding around the place.
Yeah. And just to end quickly, before Elisa disappeared, she was actually allegedly moved from floor 5 of the Cecil Hotel to floor 14/15.
Yes.
Right near the roof. Now, this was from an official statement, which we had the documents for. Her name is Amy Price. She ran the Cecil Hotel at the time. She, in her official statement, states that due to Elisa's odd behavior, she was moved from a group hostel situation on floor 5 up to her own private room on floor 14/15. So right there, there's something. Some names. So who was she with in that shared hostel? Who reported her strange behavior? And then who was the concierge that assigned her that room? Yeah. These people should all be investigated, in my opinion. These are the people that should be under the microscope. Yet we see no follow-up of these people.
So basically, and what we're saying is this investigation went through, they just essentially dismissed it. They found a body in the water tank, argued bipolar, didn't take medication, that was it.